Imagine if bravery had a face. What would it look like? Would it be someone who only knows how to raise a sword, or someone who knows how to remain just even in anger? This is not the story of an ordinary battle. It is the story of a man who always stood at the front in every war, but never stood above others in pride. A man whose name could silence the battlefield, and whose enemies themselves admired his character. Today, we talk about the one whose sword was Zulfiqar, but whose real strength was his faith. This is the story of Imam Ali ibn Abi, the Lion of Allah, who defeated his ego before defeating his enemies. If you want to know what true courage really is, watch till the end, because this is not just history. It is a message for today. It was a sea of sand. The sun was burning. The air was silent. This was the battlefield of Badr. There were no thrones and no crowns, only truth and falsehood standing face to face. On one sea, the Were 313. Poor believers with limited weapons and no worldly power. On the other side was the pride of Quraysh, 1,000 soldiers, horses, armor, swords, and years of arrogance. When the call for single combat was raised, 3 warriors stepped forward from Quraysh. Silence fell. From the side of the Prophet 3 figures rose, and among them one shone the brightest. That was Ali ibn Abi Talib, young in age, but stronger than mountains in faith, sword in hand, with no fear in his heart. With the first strike, it became clear that this battle was not about strength. It was about belief. One by one, enemies fell, and courage filled Muslim hearts. From that day, history knew that Ali was not just a warrior. He was the sword of Islam. At Uhud, at first, the Muslims were winning and victories seemed close. Then, disobedience appeared. Positions were abandoned. The enemy attacked from behind. Chaos spread. Someone cried that the Prophet had been martyred. Fear shook the army, but one man did not move. It was Ali, wounded, bleeding, yet firm in faith. He stood like a shield around the Prophet, taking every blow upon himself. More than 70 wounds covered his body, yet he did not step back. Uhud taught the world that courage is standing with truth, even in defeat. At Khandaq, across the trench, stood Umar ibn Abi Wudd, a warrior equal to 1,000 men. He crossed the trench and challenged the Muslims. Silence spread. Then a calm voice rose. I will. It was Ali. Swords clashed, sparks flew, and dust rose into the sky. Then armor fell and Ali stood victorious. The hearts of Muslims came alive again. That day proved that battles are won by faith, not by these. At Khaybar, there were strong fortresses, iron gates, and years of experience behind the walls. The Muslims tried for days, but returned every evening tired and disappointed. Then the Prophet announced that the flag would be given to the one whom Allah and his messenger love. In the morning, Ali was called. His eyes were in pain, but the Prophet healed him with his blessed hands. The flag was placed in his hand, and Ali advanced. He tore off the massive gate and used it as a shield. Khaybar. Khaybar. Fellow. Kawala. Soraro. Okay. History testified that Zulfiqar was not iron. It was faith sharpened by sincerity. Ali never fought for anger and never for ego. Once, an enemy fell helpless before him. When the man spat on his face, Ali stepped back. Someone asked why he stopped. Ali replied that now it would be anger, not justice, and he did not kill in anger. That moment turned war into worship. He fed the thirsty, protected the weak, respected the wounded, and cared for the helpless. To him, victory was not counted in bodies. It was measured in justice. Strength was not crushing enemies. It was controlling oneself. Ali never asked how many enemies there were or how many swords stood before him. He only asked where the truth was. Wherever truth was, Ali was there. Sometimes carrying the flag at the front, sometimes standing as a shield, and sometimes wounded yet still leading. For him, being first was not honor. It was responsibility. Responsibility to take the first strike, the first wound, and the first risk, so others could learn courage. Today, swords are gone and battlefields are gone, but the hardest war remains. It is the war against ego, injustice, lies, and silence. Ali's courage was not only in fighting, it was in stopping at the right time. Bravery is not shouting in anger. Bravery is controlling anger. Power is not destroying others. Power is standing firm on justice. If we truly love Ali Rah, we must follow his character. We must speak the truth, stand against injustice, and never sell truth for personal gain. That is Ali's courage. Ali never stood up and said, "Look at me." But whenever truth needed support, he was found standing at the front. Today, the Ummah needs hearts like his. Strong but not cruel. Brave but not unjust. Stand with truth, even if you have to stand alone. That is Ali. That is his message. If this story touched your heart, remember it was not only to listen, it was to awaken you. Courage is not only in war. Courage is in staying firm on truth. Strength is not in overpowering others, but in controlling oneself. If each of us brings even a little of all these principles into our lives, hatred can decrease, injustice can stop, and fear can turn into courage. Stories may end, but the message lives on.